Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. In today's follow along routine, we're gonna be focusing on our hip mobility. So it's gonna be a fast and effective routine, roughly 6 minutes, including the rest periods in between movements. We have 5 different movements. We're gonna work through these movements for 60 seconds each with a 10-second rest in between movements, just so we can transition from exercise to exercise. This is a fantastic routine just to add into your weekly workouts or at the end of workouts to improve and open up those hips. You can also use this as a leg day warm up to get those hips prepped and primed, ready for your leg day. So again, fast and effective. If you want to add more to this, absolutely feel free to do so. Hit this for 2 sets or even 3 sets to really unlock those hips and take your hip mobility to the next level. So without further ado, let's get into the routine. All right guys, starting in 10 seconds. So we start seated, feet are gonna be wide, hands are gonna be on the floor. We have a pseudo shin box. So it's not gonna be a full-on shin box. So we're gonna start off keeping both hands in contact with the floor, dropping one knee to the floor. So you're gonna feel a good stretch to the outer hip as we internally rotate this leg, externally rotating the other leg. Now if you can't get your knee all the way to the floor, just get as far as you can. Just have your goal to be slowly working your way to getting that knee all the way down to the floor. So internal rotation will be the main focus with this. You're gonna feel this the most on the internal rotation. Internal rotation is often neglected. I know I neglected it for a long time and just never really focused on it. And it's just so important for overall hip function and optimal function. So this is a great exercise. Nice and controlled. Keep both hands in contact with the floor. 5 seconds. 2 and 1 time. Next up, spider lunges. High plank position, foot high into the outside of the hand, so working the hips, more specifically the groin with this exercise. So we're gonna start off, foot high into the outside of the hand, back leg's gonna be as straight as possible. We're gonna take our forearm of that same side leg and try and drop it to the floor. We'll then switch sides. So drop that forearm as close as you can to the floor. I cannot get all the way down. My mobility is not great with my hips. I'm definitely somebody who has to work on my mobility often just to have average mobility. So I think that's for a lot of us, right? There's certainly some people that are blessed with that genetics for better mobility. I'm definitely not one of those people. So I got to put work in. Now, if you can't get your foot all the way up to your hand, get it as close as you can and then drop your forearm. And then just make it your goal to slowly work that foot up as close as you can. You can also just kind of shift side to side, internal and external, to open up those hips. Okay, next up, we have the psoas reach. So we're gonna start off in that hip flexor stretch position. You can have your toes up or flat, it's up to you. From here, we're gonna lean forward, keeping our core braced and our hips as neutral as possible. And then we're gonna reach up and over, really stretching and targeting that deep hip flexor muscle, the psoas. Then we're gonna switch sides. So it's gonna take some stability and balance as well to switch sides. So take your time at first. What we want to avoid is anterior tilt. So we don't wanna arch back and then reach up and over. We wanna keep those hips as neutral as possible and keep that core braced to get a much better stretch through the hips and through the psoas. 15 seconds. Take a few seconds in each position as well. Really breathe and try to work through a further range of motion. Let's get one more quick one here. Good. Next up, fire hydrant hip circles. So we're on all fours, shoulders over the wrist, knees under the hips, core is braced. Here we go. So from here, we're gonna lift out, around, underneath, and then we're gonna reverse the movement. So kick back and up, and then circle around, then we'll switch sides. So lift out, circle around, underneath, kick back up, and then reverse the movement. We wanna try to maintain good hip position throughout as well. So we don't wanna shift our hips to try and achieve range of motion. We wanna try and keep those hips as parallel with the floor as possible
to really isolate those hips as much as we can. I actually struggle with this one a lot. It's just my hips are tight. So definitely might feel some crunching, some cracks and pops. As long as there's no pain associated with that, you're all good. Just nice and controlled. Again, trying to lock those hips in, keep that core braced. Try not to shift. 5 seconds, let's get one more. And time. All right, then we finish off the routine with a pigeon. So alternating pigeon with a reach. So we'll start off foot across the body here. We're gonna drop our chest as much as we can and then reach over to that same side. So really targeting the external rotators, the glutes, the glute medius with the pigeon reach. So try and get this leg as perpendicular with the body as possible. Drop the chest, which will intensify that stretch with the glute. Then we intensify it even more with that reach across. Now, if you can't get your chest all the way down, just get as far down as you can and then reach across, making it your goal, as always, to try and go a little bit further, a little bit deeper on each rep. Just make sure you're breathing, relaxing the body to let the body release and open up to improve that mobility through the hips. 10 seconds. Let's get one more with a good reach here. And time.
All right, guys, there you have it. Fast and effective hip mobility routine. If you're struggling to improve your hip mobility, you gotta be consistent. So 2, 3, even 4 times a week with this routine is gonna absolutely help improve that hip mobility and take your hip mobility to the next level. So make sure you're consistent with your mobility work. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more workouts and follow along workouts like this one. Leave a comment, and until the next video, I'll talk to you guys soon.